What's going on, guys? It's your boy Parag. Day 10 of the hard challenge. Can you believe it's been 10 days? It's been 10 days, 10 videos back to back, and it's not stopping until I go to Japan. But when I go to Japan, the vlogs are coming in. Anyways, we are back. Starting off with the breakfast. Boom. I switched it up today. No oatmeal. Your boy had 3 eggs scrambled. Make sure it's a little wet too. We got some chicken breast from the Costco turkey. Shout out to my madre, and then 1 croissant. Not too bad, but once I ate the croissant, because it's not just any regular croissant. It's like the buttered one. Like it's like buttered up. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of So that's the breakfast. And for today, you already know the deal. 45-minute walk. Something light for me, you know what I'm saying? It's something light. Anyways, let's get on to the reading today. If you want to skip on to the workout, here it is. The workout today is it's like a rest day because we already did like how I structure my days is it's just like arms, chest, shoulders, back, legs, the rest day, and we do it all over again. But for the rest day, basically that's just like stretching and abs. But anyways, let's get on to the question of the day. If to all my new viewers or viewers that's watching this video, every day before we start reading our book, we read one question and answer it from the 44 pieces of law. So yesterday the question was what is your most reoccurring worry? We mentioned that. All right, nice question. When do you feel most at ease? I think the time the times I feel most at ease will probably be me either streaming or when I have like a day off and like for that day I can like stream and do shit, because I feel like every time that I'm not streaming or not doing something that's related to content creation, I'm always like overthinking and like looking into the future, like, oh my god, like what's gonna happen, or like what if I have to do this, that. But when it comes to that, like content creation, blah blah blah, like I'm like in the moment, like I'm only thinking about it right now because like I'm playing a game or XYZ. So I feel pretty easy at that. Other times will probably be like hanging out with my friends because it's just all about like when I'm with them or I'm streaming or whatever, like I'm in like the present and it feels good to be in the present. But when I'm not with my friends or not doing content creation, I'm doing like other stuff. Like even like if I'm working, I still like, stressing about like the future, blah, blah, blah. So definitely that as well. But hey, comment down below, when do you feel most at ease? And yesterday we finished off Zen Mind. Let's get back into it, bro. It was page 43, which is right here. Okay. Wait. All right. Right here. Okay. Wait, no. The right effort. Oh, wait. We did it on page 45. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Do not try to... Wait. If you do not listen to it, the sound is... Yeah, so yesterday where we left off, they're talking about how some like... If you clap with 2 hands, it makes a sound, but if you clap with 1 hand, it also makes a sound. And even though you can't hear it, the sound exists, because if sound didn't exist, you couldn't hear 2 hands clapping, but sound exists, so 1 hand clapping. I'm trying to grasp my head around it, but because you try to hear it, sometimes there is sound and sometimes there is no sound. Do you understand? Even though you do not do anything, you have the quality of Zazen always. But if you try to find it, if you try to see that quality, you have no quality. You are living in this world as one individual, but before you take the form of a human being, you are already there, always there. We are always here. Do you understand? Hell no, I don't understand. I'm trying to though. You think before you were born, you were not here, but how it is possible for you to appear in this world when there is no you? Because you are already there. You can appear in the world. Also, it is possible for something to vanish which does not exist, because something is there, something can vanish. You may think that when you die, you disappear, you no longer exist. But even when you vanish, Something which is existent cannot be non-existent. That is magic. We ourselves cannot put any magic spells on this world. The world is its own magic. If we are looking at something, it can vanish from our sight. But if we do not try to see it, that something cannot vanish because you are watching it. It can disappear. But if no one is watching, how is it possible for anything to disappear? If something is watching you, you can escape from him. But if no one is watching, you cannot escape from yourself. So try not to see something in particular. Try not to achieve anything special. You already have everything in your own pure quality. If you understand this ultimate fact, there is no fear. There may be some difficulty, of course, but there is no fear. If people have difficulty without being aware of the difficulty, that is a true what? There may be some difficulty, of course, but there is no fear. If people have difficulty without being aware of the difficulty, that is true difficulty. They may appear very confident. They may think they are making a big effort in the right direction, but without knowing it, what they do comes out of fear. Something may vanish for them, but if your effort is in the right direction, then there is no fear of losing anything, even if it is the wrong direction. If you're aware of that, you will not be deluded. There is nothing to lose. There is only the constant pure quality of right practice. Okay? When we practice Zazen, our mind is calm and quite simple, but usually our mind is very busy and complicated, and it is difficult to be concentrated on what we are doing. This is because we act, we think, and this thinking leaves some trace. Our activity is shadowed by some preconceived idea. The thinking not only leaves some trace or shadow, but also gives us many other notions about other activities and things. These traces and notions make our mind very complicated. When we do something with quality, a quite simple, clear mind, we have no notion or shadows, and our activity is strong and straightforward. But when we do something with a complicated mind in relation to other things or people or society, our activity becomes very complex. Most people have a double or triple notion in one activity. There's a saying, to catch two birds with one stone. That is what people usually try to do because they want to catch too many birds. They find it difficult to be concentrating on one activity, and they may not end up catching any of the birds at all. That kind of thinking always leaves its shadow on their activity. The shadow is not actually the thinking itself. Of course, it is necessary to think of or prepare before we act, but right thinking does not leave any shadow. Thinking which leaves traces comes out of your relative confused mind. Relative mind is the mind which sets itself in relation to other things, thus limiting itself. It is this small mind which creates gaining ideas and leaves traces of itself. If you leave a trace of thinking on your activity, you will be attached to the trace. For instance, you may say, "This is what I have done," but actually it is not so. In your recollection, you may say, "I did such and such a thing in some certain way," but actually that is never actually what happened. When you think in this way, you limit the actual experience of what you have done. So if you attach the idea of what you've done, you are involved in selfish ideas. Often we think what we have done is good, but it may very not actually be so. When we become old, we are very often proud of what we have done. When others listen to someone proudly telling them something which he has done, they will feel funny because they know his recollection is one-sided. They know that what he has told them is not exactly what he did. Moreover, if he is proud of what he did, that pride will create some problem for him. Repeating his recollections in this way, his personality will be twisted and more until he becomes quite a disagreeable, stubborn fellow. This is an example of leaving a trace of one's thinking. We should not forget what we did, but it should not be without an extra trace. To leave a trace is not the same as to remember something. It is necessary to remember what we have done, but we should not become attached to what we have done in some special case. What we call attachment is just these traces of our thoughts and activity. In order to not leave any traces, When you do something you should do with your whole body and mind, you should be concentrated on what you do. You should do it completely like a good bonfire. You should not be a smoky fire. You should burn yourself completely. If you do not burn yourself completely, a trace of yourself will be left in what you do. You will have something remaining which is not completely burned out. Zen activity is activity which completely burned out, with nothing remaining but ashes. This is the goal of our practice. That is what Dojin meant when he said, ashes do not come back to the firewood. Ash is ash. Ash should be complete ash. The firewood should be firewood. When this kind of activity takes place, one activity covers everything. So our practice is not a matter of 1 or 2 hours, or 1 day or 1 year. If you practice Zazen with your whole body and mind, even for a moment, that is Zazen. So moment after moment, you can devote yourself to your practice. You should not have any remains after you do something. But this is not, I'm sorry, I'm stuttering, sorry. You should not have any remains after you do something. But this does not mean to forget all about it. If you understand this point, all dualistic thinking and all the problems in your life will vanish. When you practice Zazen, you become one with Zen. There is no you and no Zazen. When you bow, there is no Buddha and no you. Only complete bowing takes place, that is all. This is Nirvana. When Buddha transmitted our practice to Maya Kashyapa, I'm sorry if I chopped that up, I'm so sorry. He just picked up a flower with a smile. Only Maha Kashyapa understood what he meant. No one else understood. We do not know if this is a historical event or not, but it means something. It is a demonstration of our traditional way. Some activity which covers everything is true activity, and the secret of this activity is transmitted from Buddha to us. This is Zen practice, not some teachings taught by Buddha or some rules or life set up by him. The teaching of the rules should be exchanged according to the place or according to the people who have observed them. But the secret of this practice cannot be changed. It is always true. So for us, there is no other way to live in this world. I think this is quite true, and this is easy to accept, easy to understand, and easy to practice. If you compare the kind of life based on this practice with what is happening in this world or in human society, you will find out just how valuable the truth Buddha left us. It is quite simple, and practice is quite simple. But even so, we should not ignore it. Its great value must be discovered. Usually when it's so simple, we say, oh, I know that. It's quite simple. Everyone knows that. But if we do not find its value, it means nothing. It is the same as not knowing. The more you understand culture, the more you will understand how true and necessary this teaching is. Instead of only criticizing your culture, you should devote your mind and body to practicing this simple way. The society and culture will grow out of you. It may be right for the people who are too attached to their culture to be critical. Their critical attitude means that they are coming back to a simple truth left by Buddha. But our approach is just to be concentrated on a simple basic practice and a simple basic understanding of life. There should be no traces in our activity. We should not attach to some fancy ideas, to some beautiful things. We should not seek for something good. The truth is always near your hand, within your reach. Okay, I want to go back and discuss more about the traces, because let me see. Usually when I read that yesterday. Let me go back to the traces. Right here. Okay, so it said here that kind of, okay, so there's a saying, to catch two birds with one stone. That is what people usually try to do because they want to catch too many birds. They find it hard to concentrate on one activity, and they may end up not catching up any birds at all. That kind of thinking always leaves a shadow on their activity. The shadow is not actually the thinking itself. Of course, it is often necessary to think and prepare before we blah blah blah. If you leave a trace of your thinking on your activity, you'll be attached to the trace. For instance, you may say, this is what I have done, but actually it is not. In your recollection, you may say, I did such and such a thing in some certain way, but actually that is never exactly what happened. When you think it's, I think I think what they're trying to say here, in my understanding, is that like when you talk to other people about what you've accomplished in your life, you will never like say like what you act like. You might say what you did, but I feel like you will also like your pride would also add in extra shit in it. You know what I'm saying? So like I could be like, yo guys, your boy just did a workout and you know, I squatted like 1,500 pounds for 5 reps. Obviously that didn't happen, but to someone they might believe that. So I guess it's like because it like from what I'm reading is like if you attach yourself to the achievement and you begin to tell others about that achievement that you did, not only will you tell them, but you'll also leave traces of extra shit, is what I'm trying to say. Let me see here. Okay, wait. To leave a trace is not the same as to remember something. It is necessary to remember what we have done, but we should not become attached to what we have done in something special sense. What we call attachment is just these traces of a thought. Okay. Every existence in nature, every existence in the human world, every cultural work that we create is something which was given or is being given to us. Relatively speaking, but as everything is originally one, we are in actuality giving out everything. Moment after moment, we are creating something, and this is the joy of our life. But this is I, which is something which is creating and always giving out something, is not the small I, it is the big I. Even though you do not realize the oneness of this big I, but big I means like the capital I, not the lowercase I. When you give something, you feel good, but at the same time, you feel at one with what you are giving. This is why it feels better to give than take. We have a saying, okay, just prepare your ears, it's going to be kind of chopped. Dana praja paramita. Dana means to give, praja means wisdom, and paramita means to cross over. So that means give wisdom to the other side. Prajamita means to cross over or to reach the other side. Our life can be seen as a crossing of a river. The goal of our life effort is to reach the other shore. Nirvana, praja paramita. The true wisdom of life is that each step of the way, the other shore is actually reached. To reach the other shore with each step, the crossing is the true living. Dana prajamita is the first of the 6 ways of true living. The second is Sila Prajamita, or the Buddha's precepts. Then there are, okay, guys, just beware of my pronunciation for this. Then there are Kshanti Prajamita, or endurance, Virja Prajamita, or adore and constant effort, Dhyana Dhyayo Prajamita, or Zen practice. Actually, these 6 prajna paramita are one, but as we observe life from various sides, we count 6. Dojin Zenzi said, to give is non-attachment. That is just not to attach to anything is to give. It does not matter what is given. To give a penny or a piece of leaf is dana prajamita. To give one line or even one word of teaching is daja prajamita. If given in the spirit of non-attachment, the material offering and the teaching of fear have the same value with the right spirit. All that we create is dana prajamita. So Dojin said, to produce something to practice in human activity is also daja prajamita. I'm so sorry if I'm like butchering it, guys. I'm sorry. To provide a ferry boat for people or to make a bridge for people is daja dana prajamita. Paramita. Actually, to give one line of teaching may be to make a ferry boat for someone. According to Christianity, hold up. According to Christianity, every existence in nature is something which was given for or given to us by God. That is the perfect idea of given. But if you think that God created man and that you are somehow separate from God, you are liable to think what you have ability to create something separate, something not given by him. For instance, we create airplanes and highways, and when we repeat I create, I create, I create, soon we forget who is actually the I, which creates the various things. We soon forget about God. This is the danger of human culture. Actually, to create the big I is to give. We cannot actually create and own what we create for ourselves since everything was created by God. Okay, that makes sense. Not gonna lie. This point should not be forgotten. But because we forget who is doing the creating and reasoning for creation, we become attached to material or exchange value. This has no value in comparison to the absolute value of something as God's creation. Even though something has no material or relatively value to any small I, it is absolute value in itself. Not to be attached to something is to be aware of its absolute value. Everything you should do should be based on such awareness and not on material or self-centered ideas of value. Then whatever you do is true giving, is dana prijamata. Bro, I can't even say that for my life. When we sit in a... Okay, I just want to touch base back on what you said about Christianity. I actually agree with that kind of statement. Because, me personally, I do believe that there is a man up there that is, higher power. I don't know if it's Jesus. I don't know who it is, but there is definitely a God up there. Is what I believe. But yeah, when they were talking about some I create type shit, and they were saying to be honest, we didn't really create it. We're kind of in the middle for making the thing, but all those ingredients and stuff like that was given to us by the man upstairs. You know what I'm saying? So we could say, yeah, we made highways, we made cars or something like that, but from where did those materials come from? It came from someone that made those materials. You know what I'm saying? That's how I'm thinking it. Because yeah, we cannot create and own what we create for ourselves since everything was created by God. I believe in that. Okay. Okay, when we sit in the cross-legged posture, we resume our fundamental activity of creation. There are perhaps three kinds of creation. The first is to be aware of ourselves while we finish Zazen. When we sit, we are nothing. We do not even realize what we are. We just sit. But when we stand, we are there. That is the first step in creation. When you are there, everything else is there. Everything is created all at once. When you emerge from nothing, everything emerges from nothing. We see it all as fresh new creation. This is non-attachment. The kind of creation is when you act or produce or prepare something like food or tea. The third kind is to create something within yourself, such as education or culture or art, some system for a society. So there are three kinds of creation. But if you forget the first, the most important one, the other two will be like children who have lost their parents. Their creation will mean nothing. Everyone forgets about Zazen. Everyone forgets about God. They only work hard at the second and third kinds of creation. But God does not help with the activity. How is it possible for him to help when he does not realize who he is? That is why we have so many problems in this world. When we forget the fundamental source of our creating, we are like the children who do not know what to do when they lose their parents. If you understand Dana Paramita, you will understand how it is we create so many problems for ourselves. Of course, to live is to create problems. If we did not appear in this world, our parents would have no difficulty with us. Just by appearing, we create problems for them. Oh my god, this page is literally just a fly. That's fire. Okay. This is all right. Everything creates some problems, but usually people think that when we die, everything is over, the problems disappear. But your death may create problems too. Actually, our problems could be solved or dissolved in this life, but if we are aware that what we do or what we create is really the gift of the big I, then we will not be attached to it, and we will not create problems for ourselves or for others. And we forget day by day what we have done. This is true non-attachment in every, and we should do something new. To do something new, of course, we must know our past, and this is all right. But we should not keep holding on to everything we have done. We should only reflect on it. And we must have some idea of what we should do in the future. But the future is the future, the past is the past. Now we should work on something new. This is our attitude and how we should live in the world. This is Dana Praja Paramita, to give something or to create something for ourselves. So to do something through and through is to resume our true activity of creation. This is why we sit. If we do not forget this point, everything will be carried on beautifully. But once we forget this point, we'll be full of problems and confusion. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to really like resonate with the whole thing of like to give is like the true gift. Being able to give and make others happy. And I don't like it's hard to understand this book. I'm not gonna lie. Like this time, like even at, like when I'm not recording, like I like reread it sometimes and I still don't get it. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, last page for the day. There are several poor ways of practice that you should understand. Usually, when you practice Zazen, you become very idealistic and you set up an ideal or goal which you strive to attain and fulfill. But as I have often said, this is absurd. When you are idealistic, you have some gaining idea with yourself. By the time you attain your ideal goal, your gaining idea will create another ideal. So as long as your practice is based on gaining an idea and you practice Zazen in an idealistic way, you have no time actually to attain your ideal. Moreover, you will be sacrificing the meat of your practice. Because your attainment is always ahead, you will always be sacrificing yourself now for some ideal in the future. You end up with nothing. This is absurd. It is not adequate practice at all. But even worse than this is idealistic attitude is to practice Zazen in competition with someone else. This is poor, shabby kind of practice. Our Soto ways puts an emphasis on Shinkai Taza, or just sitting. Actually, we do not have any particular name for our practice. When we practice Zazen, we just practice it. And whether we find joy in our practice or not, we just do it, even though we are sleepy and we are tired of practicing Zazen or repeating the same thing day after day. Even so, we continue our practice, whether or not someone encourages our practice, we just do it. Even when you practice Zazen alone without a teacher. Okay, so that was the last page, but I want to touch base back on this one where it says, so as long as you practice is based on gaining idea and you practice Zazen in an idealistic way. Oh wait, no. Okay, no. So moreover, you'll be sacrificing the meat of your practice because your attainment is always ahead. And you will always be sacrificing yourself now for some ideal in the future. You end up with nothing. I feel like that is related to like overthinking in a way where it's like you're thinking so much about the future that the you right now is like do absolutely nothing but just stressing and building anxiety. So I think that's the interpretation. I hope. But hey, that was the 10 pages for today. If you guys watched throughout this entire reading series, thank you guys for that. It's time for the workout now. Stretching, abs. I think next week when I do this again, like the stretching ab day, I think I might do some yoga, because yoga I feel like it's really good for like my lower back, because I got lower back pain. I'm old. But hey, thank you guys for watching the reading session. It's time for the workout. Peace. Ladies and gentlemen, and it's time for the workout. So off rip, you already know the deal. Stretching out the glutes. Bro, I know I said it last time I did, but bro, my ass is kind of fat, bro. Hold up. Anyway, stretching out, making sure that lower back is all decompressing, making sure I feel the stretch in my glute as well, because my job, I sit down all day, so my back and compose are kind of not that good. But hey, Now we're stretching out the groin, making sure that everything is feeling good and tight. I mean, loose. Now doing some leg stretching. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Back in high school, I used to be like a pretty good stretcher. Pause. Like I used to be able to like stretch more, like or like touch my toes more. But now your boy's kind of getting a little bit older now. You know what I'm saying? But holding it, making sure it's all good. Doing some doing some butterflies. Doing some butterflies. Now we're gonna be doing like prime example. Back in high school, I could have like I could have like reached over and like just touched or held like my toes, but now I can't because it hurts like way too much. And then now we're doing some quad stretching, just leaning back into it, just really stretch out those quads, because the quads and knees are very important for your body. And then now we're doing some 90-90s for the hips. Guys, viewers, older, young, work on your hips. I'm also doing it too because they're very important, especially like not even sports wise, just like in general. It's very important. Anyways, boom. Now we're going on to some, I don't know what this is called exactly, but stretching out like my quad, inner groin, just holding it out. This ankle is kind of wild. I'm not gonna lie. Anyways, just making sure that everything's all stretched. Oh, it's called the pigeon stretch, I think. Anyways, yeah. So we're doing this just to really decompress all my legs and body because your boy's been tight. Pause. Now we're doing some. Yep, there we go. Come on. Yep. Some calf stretching. Calves are always tight, especially if you're not wearing like proper footwear. That's also a factor as well. And on to the next. Now we're doing some full body setting up now. Yup, there we go. Arm stretching. Hey, tricep, making sure everything is all loose. Okay, more arms. I'm kind of ripped, bro. All fat. And then now this was like a lean back. Yep. And then now we're going to just touch the toes. I remember in high school, I met this guy, or I knew a guy that could like, he could like do the same stretch, but like palm like the ground. I don't know how he did that. But now I don't know what this stretch is called, but I used to do it back when I was working at UPS. It's pretty good. And now we're doing just some knee ups, you know what I'm saying? And then this stretch right here that I'm about to do is like good for like before ball. Like it really like unlocks the muscle that's underneath your anyways. Yep, now we're doing some abs, you know what I'm saying? Side to sides, sit-ups. I do 2 sets, but I just record only the first set. But hey, more sit-ups, but I was dying. My face expression is like and then ending off with some side planks on the right and on the left side. Overall, I think I need to factor in more eating less, because I'm not gonna lie, when I'm going to Japan, I'm trying to like deflate my belly as much as possible, but we'll see. But hey, that is a workout. Picture of the day. Boom. Yes, sir. Looking mad crispy. Honestly, feeling good. I just showered too as well. Well, I didn't shower. I did like everything but my hair. But I'll wash my hair like later tonight. But let's get on to the lunch for today. Okay, I'm not even gonna lie. Before I had lunch, I had a little snack, a boiled egg and a banana. Not too shabby. I'm not gonna lie. I was like at work, like during my break, and like I was gone. I was tired. I was sleepy. But after I had this and some water, I was straight. But onto the lunch. Boom. I know it's a lot of noodles and a lot of chicken. That's like the leftover turkey that my mom got from Costco. Shout out again to my madre. I will be buying my own grocery store and then food. Okay, well, not store. I'm not rich. And I'll start making my own like cooking videos. So be on the lookout for that. But not too shabby. Glass of water or two. I have been drinking like 4 liters of water a day, bro. I'll be going to the bathroom a lot. And finally, for dinner, same thing, except we got some, I want to say lettuce. I don't think it's lettuce though. Spinach. I don't know. Like it's greens and more chicken. Overall, not too bad. A lot of protein, carbs. But guys, your boy ordered some creatine and protein powder. Yup. It's time to lock in, twin. But aside from that, hey, thank you guys for making it to the end of the video. That is day 10. Day 11 tomorrow. Hey, Prog the Frog everywhere. TikTok, Instagram, you know what I'm saying? Everywhere. Thank you guys for watching the video. I love you guys. Can you say